is about past simple, negative and interrogative. Okay, negative and interrogative. So when you say negative, it's the not the positive part, it's the negative sentences. And when you say interrogative, that's the question part. So always remember, when somebody says it's interrogative, that means it's the question part. Okay, when somebody says interrogative, that's the question part. Okay, all right, let's take this one. Complete the sentences with the correct negative past simple form of the verbs in brackets. Okay, someone's mic is on. Okay, it's turned off. Right. Complete the sentences with the correct negative past simple form of the verbs in brackets. Okay, so we have to get the negative past simple form of the verbs in brackets. Okay, let's look at it. We space within brackets, they have given the word get to the hotel in time for dinner. Okay, so we have to write the negative form and in the simple past tense. Then we, if it is in the simple past tense, then we didn't get, right? We didn't get, right? We didn't get to the hotel in time for dinner. We didn't get to the hotel in time for dinner. So always, students, something that we have to remember in the simple past tense is once we use didn't is for negative, no, right? Did not is contracted and the short form is didn't. We didn't get, the verb has to be always written in the base form, right? In the past tense negative, or in the question in the sense interrogative, in those forms the verb has to be written in the base form. Okay, if the sentence is written in the positive form, then only the verb is written in the past tense. That's the rule. That's the rule in past tense. Verb has to be written in the past form only if you are writing the sentence in the positive past tense, right? So we didn't get to the hotel in time for dinner. Okay, so what is meant by in time? In time. Now, when it comes to prepositions, there are two things. You can say in time and you can say on time as well. In time and on time. Okay, what's the difference between in time and on time? When you say in time, right before the time. So for an example, let's assume the class starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, the class starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you go to the class in time. When you say you go to the class in time, the meaning is before 8 o'clock you go to the class. By 7:55, by 7:50, maybe by 7:45, you are in the class. So you can say I was in the class in time. I was in the class in time. In time. If it is an online class, you can say I logged into the class in time. I joined the class in time. So in time is before the scheduled time. Before the scheduled time. So if it is at 8 o'clock, before the 8 o'clock, you have gone to the class in time. If you say on time, the meaning is sharp at 8 o'clock, on time. So the class starts at 8 o'clock and you have gone to the class sharp on time. On time. When you say on time, it's sharp at 8 o'clock. It's sharp at 8 o'clock. So there's a difference between in time and on time. So you all need to know the difference between in time and on time. Okay, so normally in the term tests, in the Cambridge exams, in the Oxford exams and all, when it comes to preposition tests, one thing that they test is whether you all know the difference between in time and on time. So when you say in time, it's before the time. Before the time in a sense, if it is 8 o'clock, whether it is before that or not, in time. On time is sharp at 8 o'clock, right? That's the meaning, in time and on time. We didn't get to the hotel in time for dinner. Okay, let's look at the next one. Our team, space within brackets, they have given the word win, the last match of the season. Okay, then we can say our team didn't win the last match of the season. Our team didn't win the last match of the season. Okay, next one. It was a long film, but I space feel bored. Okay, then if you have to write it in the negative, I didn't feel bored. It was a long film, but I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel bored. Okay, in that way, students, from question number 4 to question number 8, can you all send me the answers in the Google chat? They space spend all their money on holiday. Okay, so we have to write it in the past tense negative. No? Okay, then didn't spend. No, they didn't spend all their money on holiday. They didn't spend all their money on holiday. Okay, another thing for you all to learn here, students, when we say spend, okay, you spend money. You spend money. The preposition that we have to use is they didn't spend all their money on holiday. Okay, on is the preposition that we have to use when we are talking about spending. So for an example, I spent all my money on books. I spent all my money on books. On is the preposition that we have to use. I spent all my money on books. Okay, I spent all my money on books. Okay, here they are saying they didn't spend all their money on holiday. All their money on holiday. Okay, Sakula has also sent the answers. No, okay, only Devgi is supposed to send the answers. Okay, next one. My aunt. Okay, my aunt. Within brackets, they have given the be verb. Okay, always students in the exam and all, always remember if the be verb is given. Okay, if the be verb is given, that means we have to change it. Okay, be verb means we have to change it. No, all the other verbs we don't have to change. We don't have to change all the other verbs. But if it is be verb, if it is be verb, students, we know what we have to change it. No, Devgi has also sent the answers. Yes, if it is be verb, students, we have to change it. We have to change it. Okay, what do we have to change if it is be verb? Always remember in English, if it is the be verb that is given within brackets, when you are writing the answer, be verb has to be changed to the correct tense. That is something very important for you all to remember. Okay, let's look at this one. My aunt space be at the family wedding last weekend. Okay, if it is the be verb, students, then in the past tense, what are the be verbs that we can use? Was and were. If it is singular, we have to use was. If it is plural, we have to use were. Then my aunt is singular, then definitely we have to use my aunt was. And this is in the past tense negative, right? Then my aunt was not. My aunt was not at the family wedding last weekend. My aunt was not at the family wedding last weekend. Was not, you can contract that one and you can say my aunt wasn't at the family wedding last week. And I can see some of the students have written my aunt didn't be at the family wedding last weekend. Okay, so that's what you need to learn here. If it is the be verb that is given, always remember if it is the be verb that is given, then you have to change it to in the past tense, either it is was over, in the present tense am is are, right? That's how it changes. My aunt wasn't at the family wedding last week. And next one, our teacher space give us a lot of homework. Okay, so past tense negative verb is there, so our teacher didn't give us a lot of homework. Our teacher didn't give us a lot of homework. Seventh one, it space rain at all last month. Okay, so if we have to say negative in the past tense, it didn't rain at all last month. It didn't rain at all last month. Okay, at all, what's the meaning of the phrase at all? At all, kisi setma. In Sinhala, if you take the meaning, kisi setma, so there was no rain at all. So when we say at all, there was no rain. There was no rain. Kisi setma sakti bina. It didn't rain at all last month. The meaning of the phrase at all is kisi setma. Kisi setma, right? It didn't rain at all last month. Okay, the last one. I enjoyed the film, but I space can understand all of the dialogue. Okay, so this is also a tricky one, students. Right, what's the trickiness in this one? Can is not a verb. Can is not a verb. Okay, you can say I can go, I can dance, I can sing, I can sit, I can eat. When you say all of that, can is not a verb. Can is not a verb. Okay, in all the other examples you all can see within brackets what they have given is a verb. Always it's a verb. No, always it's a verb. But here what they have done is they have given a modal. This is not a verb. Actually, this is a modal. Okay. So if it is a modal, can in the past tense negative, you don't use didn't. Okay. You write the negative past of can. So can, what's the past of can? It's could. No, past tense of can is could. And if you want to write it in negative, could not. I could not understand all of the dialogue. I could not understand all of the dialogue. Could not can be contracted into couldn't. Okay, could not can be contracted into couldn't. I enjoyed the film, but I couldn't understand all of the dialogue. I couldn't understand all of the dialogue. Okay, right? There are two tricky ones here. One is the one with the be verb that you all need to remember. If it is a be verb, then you have to change it to either was or were depending on the subject. So here the subject is singular, so because of that I have used was, and since it is in the negative we have to write it as wasn't. My aunt wasn't at the family wedding last weekend. And the other thing that you have to remember is if it is a modal verb, can, may, should, right? All these are words. So those words you have to know the past form. So can, the past form is could, and in the negative it has to be could not. If you contract it, it is couldn't. I enjoyed the film, but I couldn't understand all of the dialogue. That's how it has to be written.